Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another Warframe Showcase video. Sorry this is kind of late. I've been having a busy week with work and stuff. Today we're going to be going over Saryn. Particularly I'm using Saryn Prime. I hope you like the drip. This is freaking hilarious because a couple years ago I was bored and I was just randomizing my characters and this came up and I freaking fell in love with it. So um yeah, this is what I'm be running with. This is something Megan would be proud of. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about Saryn, go over her passive, go over her abilities. Then we're gonna do a live demonstration on the second half of the video, which isn't mandatory for you to watch. It's just to show off um, how you generally gonna want to play her and the synergies and stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna go over the stats from Saryn to Saryn Prime, and then we're gonna go into the abilities. So yeah, wrong thing. Let's go down here. Let's look for Saryn. Okay, so Saryn to Saryn Prime. Saryn's base Saryn stays the same at 365. This is no mods at max rank. Her base shields is at 270. Her armor goes up from 240 to 315, so she gets significantly more armor. Um, her energy goes up by 25, so it goes from 175 to 200. And her prime is a bit faster because her sprint speed goes up from 0.95 to 1, so she's average in terms of how she runs. Talking about the prime, and yeah, that's pretty much what that is in terms of her stats. Primes and base frames are just a little bit of stat differences between each of them, so don't worry if you don't have the prime. The base is just as good. It's just a little bit of difference in stats. So yeah, going into the abilities over here real quick. So she has a passive where status effects last 25% longer. So if you're familiar with the status, if you're familiar with how status works in the game, you have your statuses, which are like corrosive, magnetic, radiation, all that stuff, right? How long they last depends on the status duration. With her passive, they just last 25% longer, so just keep that in mind. You can like mess with weapons with like status duration and stuff just so they can be on longer, but yeah. Going into her kit, so her first ability, which is gonna be her bread and butter, is gonna be spores. Essentially, what you do is you activate the ability while you're looking at an enemy. Spores will grow out them. You get 2 spores. Initially, it'll deal 10 damage and then it'll go up by 2. Once you pop the spores by shooting them, or the enemy does something to pop them on their own, the spores will spread to nearby enemies. They then will be hit with another 2 procs, and the damage you grow from your spores will increase per tick per enemy that has spores. So your goal is to try and keep the spores up as much as possible, spread them to as much enemies as possible. It'll ramp up the damage. Really good ability. Not only that, the spores deal corrosive damage, so they are good for stripping armor. So just keep that in mind. And what else can I say about this ability? I think that's pretty much it. If you want to get the most out of spores, you can mod for range and strength. Best thing to do, because the strength will increase how much damage you do per tick, and range will it depends on how far you can spread the spores from popping a spore on someone. So there's that. Now moving on to her second ability, Molt. Molt is one of her survival abilities. It's actually really useful. So upon hitting your second ability, you're gonna shed your skin. So if you're suffering from any sort of status procs or whatever, you leave, and you will be free of those status procs. And you're kind of like the way a snake sheds her skin. That skin will draw enemy fire, and once the duration runs out, it'll explode, dealing toxin damage. So just keep that in mind. One thing I've learned that not a lot of people know is that if you hit her molt and you're running right, and you activate it again, you can cause the first one to explode before the duration runs out. So it's a good way to spread toxin procs. Which toxin, if you don't know, can completely bypass health and shields. So just keep that in mind. Moving into Toxic Lash. Oh, sorry. Real quick on Moat before we move in. Before we move on, if you want to get the most off this ability, you can go for duration and strength. Strength will increase its durability. Duration is how long it'll stay up, drawing enemies fire. Um, I think there is a little bit of a healing factor to it, but I'm not 100% sure, so I won't commit to that. So yeah, moving on to our third ability, Toxic Lash. So what this ability does is it allows you to pop spores with your melee weapons, and it'll add toxin damage to whatever weapon damage you have to deal with. So yeah, I don't know if the toxin damage that it does, if it just adds it separately, or if it interferes with some of your mods. Um, I think it just adds it separately, so just keep that in mind. So this is a good. You're always gonna want to keep this up. Want to pop the spores reliably with a melee weapon, but you also want to keep spores up just so you can keep them up in general. And the effect for melee weapons is even more. So I think it's like doubled. You want to get the most of this ability. I think you might want to go with duration to increase the duration of how long you have it. And I don't think strength affects it, but that's what it is. And then moving on to her fourth ability, Miasma. Essentially, what she does is she releases a toxic cloud of viral that will greatly hinder enemies. They will take a lot of viral damage. Viral damage does attack health, and another thing you need to know is that if an enemy is already suffering from spores, if you hit miasma while you're in an area full of enemies with spores, you deal massive amounts of damage. So it'll add viral on top of the corrosive damage, and it'll just melt enemies literally. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to get the most off miasma, you're gonna want to mod for range and strength, mainly range though. So yeah, we're gonna get into the showcase. I am probably gonna go bully the who do I want to bully? We'll bully the Grenier, and we will keep them at what's a good level? I think we'll go level 60. Why not? 40. We'll go 40. Okay, so I'm gonna show off the first ability. Let's start off over here. I'm gonna hit him, and you're gonna watch how it spreads. So you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So it deals 10 initial damage, and as there's two spores on him, um, it'll increase the amount of damage unit, as you see at the bottom right. If I pop it, so now the spore spreads, and the damage increases per tick per enemy affected. So all of these guys are contributing to the damage output. You pop one, you can spread it to more enemies, so these guys are getting affected by it too. And not only does it strip armor, but it really does negatively impact enemy units. So very strong ability. It's all about keeping your spores up. And obviously when there's no spores up, you will decay the damage, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so I did say this is a useful ability. We're gonna go over a second ability. I'm not gonna show it drawing fire, but it will do that. I will show that more in the live demonstration. I think we're gonna do a survival. Essentially what you do is you pop it, you get a speed boost. It's on a set duration right now, but if I were to activate it again, you recast it, and it deals toxin damage. There you go here again. That obviously bursted the other one, so if I jump up here, pretty good. And obviously if they were active, they'd be shooting at that. That has a little bit of a period where if it draws fire, it'll be able to take more damage before it goes down. Obviously, when they dwindle down the damage that it takes to blow it up, it'll deal toxin damage, so just keep that in mind. Now Toxic Lash, I'm gonna show you what's up with this. So this guy, look at the damage. 30 3541 I think. Do it again over here. 6115. 7083. Okay, so there's that, right? Now I'm going to hit Toxic Lash. Rev it up for 40 seconds. Bruh. There you go, it's viral. Slash. And if I add spores on this guy, pop some, spreads it more reliably. So I showed you the melee aspect of it, right? Now I'm gonna show you the like what it does with weapons, because it does increase their toxic. It adds toxic to the weapons. So I'm gonna use a Comac, which I don't think is a strong weapon, but so yeah. That's what we're getting for damage. So you can see, activating this. You can see some sort of toxin procs over there. Yeah, that just adds toxin damage to your attacks in general. I want to say just weapon attacks. I'm not sure if it's ability, because I doubt you can add toxin to abilities, but we'll test it out real quick just to make sure. Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's a good segue to show off the fourth. That's what that looks like. We'll give a proper look at the fourth, because I just wanted to do that. So go here. This is a fourth without the corrosive procs from spores, so just keep an eye on the damage numbers. 39, 113, 227, 78, and it doesn't last as long. So there's that. You can add duration for that. Let me go ahead and knock these guys out again. So do this, do this. Okay, so I'm gonna up the level here. Oop. I'm gonna up the level here so I can show you what's up. Okay, so we have this guy. Pop the spore. Pop the spore here. Go up here as it's gathering damage. Activate miasma. Dealing a lot more damage. Yeah, that's all it does. It'll deal more damage if enemies are already suffering from spores, so just keep that in mind. It's all about keeping the spores up. And yeah, now we're gonna get into the modding part of this video. If you are a veteran player, know that this isn't for you. This is for beginner players, people who want a better build, people who are just picking up Saryn. This is for them. I'm not like a meta builder or any of that, so just keep that in mind. Also, quick disclaimer: if I'm using set mods, you can pick those up in Cetus, Fortuna, and Deimos. If I'm using a Prime mod, keep your Alpha Barocketeer. He brings them every 2 weeks. Obviously, the Prime mods vary, but you just gotta keep an eye on him. And then, if I'm using a Corrupted mod, those are easy to get. You have to join a clan, build a clan key, go look for their lab, which has them. I forget what it's called. And what you want to build is a Corrupted Hollow Key. There's 4 of them. Each one has a negative effect. If you run with a squad who's doing that, you can quickly farm up some of these mods that are out here. So yeah, that's if I use them. Just as a disclaimer. And yeah, let's get right into the build. Once again, this is for beginners slash people who are in the middle of the game, intermediate players who are wanting to get better. So let's go. Okay, so I have nothing here. Obviously, I have 2 builds for her. This one's strength, this one's range. But we're gonna go over sort of like a beginner friendly build, so we're not gonna go into like the Archon stuff or the late game stuff. So yeah, so Saryn, from my experience, is kinda squishy, despite like the armor thing. So what I like to run with her is rejuvenation, so she has that health regen. And then obviously as a new player, we want to cover our bases, so we're gonna go with Prime Flow or Flow if you have it for energy, Continuity for duration. What else can we run? We're gonna run with Prime Vigor just because that's a really good mod, especially if you're a beginner player. It'll cover your health and shield capacity. We will add some, where are you? Some Intensify for the strength. Should cover most of the bases, and then we're gonna go into some range. So out here we're gonna go for a range slash strength build. So I'm gonna wanna throw on stretch for that range. Um, Having more duration isn't that bad either. Um, Throw on some auger reach. What else can we do here? And we'll go with auger message for the duration. We could add another strength mod. Why not? Where are you? Throw on some transient fortitude. Yeah, I think that's fine. This would help you do a lot better if you're like a beginner, because flow, like I said, energy, vigor for the survivability, transient fortitude and intensify for the strength, stretch and reach for the range. Auger message, you don't really need it because continuity does a good job at adding the duration, but if you want to go that route, you can. You can swap out this mod for anything you may have that is utility, so it's up to you. But this is what I would genuinely want to go for if I was like someone who's going like in the middle of my Warframe journey, someone who is looking to get better. And if you're just picking up Saryn, this is roughly what you want to go to get an idea of how she plays. She'll scale really good. Don't worry about it. She does a lot of damage. So yeah, let's show this off real quick. Show you how they scale. I'm not gonna take too much time here. So it's again level 80 enemies. Ooh, let's go get some energy. Oh yeah. Before the live demonstration, I will show off my build and I will show off what I'm running and stuff, because my build works for me and my content, what I run. Yeah. So this guy has spores. Wanna hit him? Spreads it out. So now one hit spreads it to all these guys, and as you can see, the damage is ramping up pretty fast. Alongside that, like I said, it does strip armor pretty well. So there's that. Started knocking out enemies. And the damage just scales until it knocks out everyone. So yeah. Alright, so going on to the second, showing off the second real quick. If I'm not mistaken, it does increase the amount of toxin damage you deal and how long it lasts and how much damage it can soak up. But I'll go here. When I run out, pop it. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna pop it again. That's pretty much all it does. It just distracts enemies while you get away. You can get a heal. I like the way it looks though, I'm not gonna lie. I wanna check something real quick. I'm gonna check this right now. Does strength affect like the output of your damage? Yeah, you get extra toxin damage and it lasts longer. Nice. Alright, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna activate Toxic Lash. It just adds toxic to your attacks. And then if you wanna pop spores, yeah, and then I'm gonna show off the fourth just the fourth, and then I'm gonna show it off with the spores. Keep in mind we are using the build we made from right now, so yeah, here's just the fourth by itself. So it does increase damage, the cloud does linger more. It's not doing much. It deals a lot of arrow damage, but it's not doing much. So right now, I'm gonna hit this guy. Gotta pop that spore. Let the damage ramp up. And then go up here and just do that. And you can see the damage start like really taking a toll on the enemies. Just knock out these guys. And yeah, that's pretty much how that works. If you made it this far into the video, I do just want to stop and say feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of Saryn. Because up after this, we're going to go into a live demonstration. I'm going to do a survival. I'm going to think about where we're going to do a survival at. I'm going to go equip my stuff, go over that build. And then that second half is just going to be me yapping, kind of. Showing off how to play Saryn, but y'all kind of get the idea from now. So, yeah. And so those of you who just want to see this part, thank you for being on the video. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this, there's more to come. And I'll catch you all later. And if you're going to be here for the second half, give me 1 second while I cut into my ship. We're back here at my ship. I already got everything ready to go. I'm going to go over my build. So, I have two builds that I usually run. This one is sort of like the general purpose one, just more strength on it. Obviously I can improve it, but I don't have the formal for it because I'm out of formal, believe it or not. And I'm gonna go with my all range build because completely shreds at low levels and even at high levels. Once the stacks wrap up and the spores are like pretty high, you can start just messing people up. So this is what I like to run: high duration, high range, and we are gonna go into survival. See how that goes. I am running Archon shards on her. The yellow is for the 75%. It's a top 4 shard. 75% on effectiveness or on energy orbs. I'm running one blue Archon shard for rejuvenation, like to passively regenerate health. Another one for armor for survivability. I'm running the red shard for 10% ability strength. Is that what it is? Yeah, it is. And then I'm running This green one, because it adds a ability damage to enemies affected by corrosive status, so should be way powerful. And yeah, I did say we're gonna do a survival mission. Just gotta figure out where we're gonna go. Um, I'm honestly thinking mods. I'm thinking mod. I think we'll go with mod. We'll do that for. What do you want to do? 10 minutes? We'll do 10 minutes. Okay. I am running my MOA just cause the pet don't really matter. My aim. I do want to say I think the spores are also affected by line of sight. Just keep that in mind. Yep. Really that simple. You just gotta keep the spores up. What else? And keep your toxic lash up too to help with the to add more toxin damage to your weapons. Knock out the spores with the melee. And if you're ever in a sticky situation where you're like surrounded, you can use your fourth. It'll also spread a little bit the spores, but it'll die down real quick because it obviously knocks enemies out. So just keep that in mind. What else? Are you all ready for the holiday season? Have you? I mean, Christmas and New Year's. No, we just got done with Thanksgiving. Man, if I was closer to y'all, you'd see. I'd have stories to tell y'all, but can't. This is also really good build for like if you're doing a Sanctuary Onslaught and you want to help a friend rank up. Good way to go. Kinda wish there were more enemies to spawn though. By the way, Eximus units are your friends due to the fact that they will build they can build the stacks for the spores faster. Yeah, we'll just keep it at 5 minutes, honestly. There's no need to draw this out more than it has to be. I'm gonna upload later, by the way. Should have a Battlefield video up today going over the weekly challenges. I know I haven't been doing that. I haven't been doing a lot of Battlefield stuff because I just haven't had time to play. Plus, I'm also been getting ready for the old peace update, which I'm super excited for, which if you don't know drops on the 10th. And super excited for. Might not be able to stream it or everything right away. Might do videos. I think I might approach where I'm supposed to live stream a lot differently now. I think I just make them into like hour-long videos maybe in parts. But we will see how that goes. Haven't been having luck streaming lately. I want to, but like my current situation with my internet and stuff is not working out. And yeah. I do want to say too before I end up leaving, you do want to find the right balance of strength and for your spores, because often strength and range, because oftentimes you'll spread the spores, but because you're like really strong, they'll die out real quick. So if you find yourself playing like lower level content, you might want to lower the strength a bit. But if you are obviously taking higher level content, then you can definitely use more strength. Just so you can have the right balance of just spraying the spores out, getting the damage you want out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. See, it's very simple Warframe. Powerhouse in your own way. Good at stripping armor. Good at spraying the corrosive status. Really good stuff. Highly recommend you check her out. As far as how you farm her, I honestly have no idea. I forgot. It's been a while since I farmed her. And if you want to farm the prime frame, definitely she's worth getting to. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend putting money down to buy her unless you have like 3 platinum, but definitely pick her up. Powerhouse of a Warframe. Obviously as you get into like higher levels, she will get squishier, but that's always been her nature. So yeah, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you all later. Have a good week, and remember, take care of your mental health out there, because holiday blues aren't no joke. Peace.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
My brothers, did I not tell of this day? Did I not prophesize this moment?